Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Before I make some remarks, I just want to say, as was said earlier, Jerry Conley, who we lost today, a great member of this body, a passionate advocate for the people of Virginia, particularly public servants working in the federal workforce. He was a mentor to so many of us who came into Congress after he started, and just one of the greats, and he will be missed dearly. Mr. Secretary, thank you very much for being here today. In 2016, you warned, quote, "The world without American engagement is a world none of us wants to live with," unquote. I couldn't agree more, and I bring it up today because the threat from China has grown, not just due to global shifts outside of control, but because of political choices by this administration. Short-term moves with no thought for long-term consequences. The Chinese Communist Party has spent years claiming America is too divided to lead and too unstable to trust. When you became secretary, many of us hoped you would help lead the fight to combat this propaganda, because that's exactly what you did so well serving in the United States Senate. For example, Mr. Chairman, without objection, I'd like to submit for the record the August 2023 op-ed written by then Senator Rubio on this very subject. Without objection? Yeah. Secretary Rubio, in this op-ed, you wrote that strong, credible deterrence against Beijing is the best way to keep, quote, far-flung controversy from impacting our way of life. You added, quote, "If there's even a hint that the United States will not honor its security commitments, it will encourage Beijing to engage in more hostility to test our resolve." I thought your framing was especially smart here because you weren't just warning about policy. You were making the case for credibility. And I couldn't agree more with then Senator Rubio. But here you are today as Secretary Rubio presenting a very different record. As Secretary, we've seen you defend or be complicit in reckless foreign policy that Senator Rubio once warned against, like strategically incoherent tariffs that alienate our allies, alliance-breaking decisions that weaken our national security, partnership neglect that isolates us, abandoned commitments that shred our credibility, and hand China easy propaganda wins. None of this is deterring China, Mr. Secretary. In fact, my concern is that unless we course correct and fast, this administration is handing Beijing a string of "I told you so" moments that only strengthen their position. Look no further than the Vice President. In February, Vice President Vance took the stage of the Munich Security Conference not to criticize our adversaries, but in a rather stunning moment to attack our allies. In fact, he literally said, quote, "The threat that I worry about most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it is the threat from within," unquote. And just last month, the Ipsos global poll found that U.S. favorability fell in 26 out of 29 countries in just 6 short months. It's also the first time in the poll's history that more people now view China, not the United States, as the world's most positive influence. That's not just a perception problem, that's a strategic failure and the cost of inconsistency. Speaking of costs, these policies have also having Americans on edge as well. In Arizona, my home state, the Phoenix Sky Harbor alone, we have more than $750 million in annual exports at risk. Chip makers in Chandler in my district face increasing costs driven by the unpredictability and supply chain disruptions. At Arizona State University in my district, we rely on international students for tuition, research, and talent. They are being run off by the chaotic immigration policy that flies in the face of American values. The so-called brain drain is real, and it's tipping the balance of global innovation away from the United States. The challenge in this next century won't be fought on battlefields. It'll be the fight to shape the future: technology, trade, global trust. And if we keep turning our back on what makes America strong, we risk giving China the upper hand. I'll yield the rest of my time to Congresswoman Kamlager-Dove.